Every Indian believes in roti kapda makan. एक मकान होना चाहिए, चाहे वो घर हो, चाहे वो कुछ भी हो.
So now I would want to move to the Wadala land story because something exciting is there which I want to know.
The entire agreement of this 100 acres was probably 4 or 6 pages. I don't think even it was beyond that. Even if you look at the entire map of Bombay, this was known as M ward, which was like the last ward था. उसमें development नहीं था, उसमें कुछ भी नहीं था.
You have witnessed developing projects internationally as well, so would want to know the experience and the future developments internationally.
The Lehman Brothers crisis which happened, every market in India tanked, everything was slow. The first market to grow and upcome was real estate because people believed in that, and from there on, I think every other market started moving because when you are developing one land or one piece of land, you're not only developing for yourself, you are directly or indirectly supporting 270 or 280 other industries.
Would want you to highlight the points that a listed company sees advantages and disadvantages in.
In real estate, there's always a thing that I will have 10 projects which are known in the public domain and I will have 5 which are not known in public domain. In a listed entity, all those 10 which are known and unknown will be because you have to disclose everything.
Hello everyone, welcome back to Speaking Real Estate podcast. Today with us we have a very special guest, Mr. Dhaval Ajmera, who is the director of Ajmera Group and also the secretary at MCHI Creda. Today's discussion is going to be around their family business real estate company and how 3 generations are working together to move forward and perform in this industry, and as well as along with that the huge land banks that they hold and how they have developed those land banks, their future potential development opportunities and many other topics related to the real estate. So thank you so much for being a part of this and really delighted to host you on this podcast, Dhaval sir.
Thank you, Krish. It's always been a pleasure. I've heard a lot about your podcast and you being a young enthusiast to be real estate guy. So and learning and knowing people and casually interacting with them, I think is the best knowledge. So keep up the good work.
You're
and
too
wishing
sweet
you all
with
the
your
best.
words. So normally we start off with the education, then the career journey, and then about the business. So would like to start off with your education.
Well, I did my BCom from NM Bombay. And after that, I moved on to then after that, it took about a year's experience to actually know how real estate functions and how real estate works. Because I've always been, very passionate about real estate. It interests me a lot. We had a steel business at that point in time, and we also had a real estate business. My dad gave me an option, which is the side which you want to go. I used to go during my holidays and vacations to both these places, and then eventually I think real estate interests me more. And that's how I started going to sites when I was in college. When I was doing my BCom after my college, I used to, go to my sites to understand how the real column beam works, what is the slab, what is, how the site works and functions. To get actual experience at site. Although I was never an engineer, I was not very great with my studies, but I think I got a great practical knowledge because of this. And after that, I took about a year's experience here, handled one of our sites in Borivali all by myself, and gave him a real good experience about how projects work, what are the challenges, what are the difficulties. And post that, I went to study in Cardiff in UK, did my MBA in finance. So studied over there, enjoyed life, had fun. But got the experience of staying alone because over here you're always under a shelter of everyone around here, and being over there, it gives you your independence. It gives you what actual life is. How do you really struggle, even though we didn't, I mean, in terms of what we see others doing it, but still it was something which really turned around you and helped you be more mature, I feel. And then after that, I came back and started working on my sites over here. So yeah, it's been about 22 years of journey, learning still from real estate, a lot to learn. I think every day is
Definitely.
a great learning. And we have, giant stalwarts in real estate where we all look upon, and we all aim to reach where we are, because according to me, real estate is something which, I think every one of us, if we work 24/7, is still going to be less for everyone. So it's a great journey, and we should all love it and enjoy it rather than working hard.
2 decades plus of experience, and like there is still every day more things to learn. So, talking about the education phase, it does frame a person's character, nature, his well being, and everything. How much do you think education has weightage for a person who is going to enter the real estate industry?
Well, a lot. See, today, forget real estate, I would say any sector where you go, if you do not have a real education background, I think somewhere you will definitely falter. You will not be able to, grasp things so easily, faster, as compared to probably what you have come up with learning from your college or from your university or from your school. So I definitely feel education definitely is important. Now, what field do you suggest? And if you are a professional, or if you are a specialist like a doctor or an engineer or a IT firm specialist or IT engineer, you need a lot of knowledge. But if, let's say, you're a businessman, you need to know the nuances of strategy. You need to know nuances of balance sheets. You need to know marketing. You need to know HR. You need to know everything. You need to know all those fields in theory. And because going forward, experience will make you learn. But unless and until your base is not there, I don't think it will really help you. So for me, education is definitely important. And if you want to, it depends. And if you are an entrepreneur, you go somewhere else. If you are a specialist, you go somewhere else. But major education is definitely important in life to go ahead.
Definitely would agree that education does play a important role in framing the person, making the person's base ready for the future. So would like to shift to Ajmera Group, and knowing that it's a 3 generations family business, and this is something really exciting discussion that I look forward to have with you. So wanting it to start from the very beginning, how the group started, and as well as since the Wadala land bank is very well known with your company's name, I want you to associate the whole journey of the Ajmera Group and the Wadala story together, and would love to know how things have happened in the past few decades for Ajmera Group.
Well, it's a long journey. We as a company started 55 years ago, and it was started by my uncle, Chotu Bhai Ajmera, and my dad and my uncle and all. There were 7 brothers. Then we had the second generation coming in, which we were about 8 of us in the business, and now we have the third generation, which is in the business. 3 are under training stage, 3 are well settled within the business, so 6 of them. So today, if you look at us, we are 15, 16 of us working together in the business. So as a company, obviously, we hail from Gujarat, and as in how, back in those old days, Bombay was the, was the Mecca, I would say, for people to make their life or make their fortune. And, my uncle came up after they all started growing up. They came up over here. Obviously, everyone started working. They were doing some jobs. And from there, obviously, when hum Gujarati hai, Banya hai, so we come up with a mindset of business naturally, which is instilled in us. It comes up with a thing that, when they came in here, they looked up for jobs, they looked up for works, and then they eventually became a contractor. From a contractor, they bought up a site in partnership with somebody, and from one building site, they started up moving upwards, scaling up. And then one thing which our dads and uncle really looked at it is looking at townships. That was something which we were, I would say, as Ajmeras, little different than probably many other developers at that point in time. We did a lot of townships. So when we say township, was that a lot of places was actually developed, or areas got developed because our townships came in. And we are very proud to say that somewhere we feel that we are the pin code creators of that area. because pin code actually got established because of the township which came up over there, the life which came up over there. And so Wadala was obviously one of them. Shastri Nagar in Andheri, Mira Road, Shanti Nagar, Yogi Nagar, Borivali. So these are all townships which we developed, which was 5,000 apartments, 7,000 apartments, 2,000 apartments, as big as about 15,000 apartments in Mira Road. So that's the kind of growth when we really when they scaled up from our journey from 60s to 70s to 80s. We built a lot of townships over there. And slowly, my uncle started bringing all his brothers within the business. Everyone started looking at different sites, different areas. And as and how the family grew, the next gen started coming in. We started expanding even better because real estate, I believe, in Mumbai and particularly back in all those old days, it's more about the more hands you have with you, the more stronger or more, you are able to take better decisions and faster places. Now there is a lot of professionalism. Now there is a lot of, people who are working with taking ownership within themselves. But back in those days, it was not so much. So the more family hands you have, the more better it was for you. And fortunately for us, unity always stood more important.
Can you speak up a few points or advantages that you having the family members in the business helps you outperform other people?
So, our belief is that when we look at family businesses, or people from the family who's actually managing the sites, uh, obviously the biggest problem or the biggest issue whenever we had or whatever, whenever back in those days was always, I mean, the trust issues. It's something when you have your family member against someone who is an outsider. I think it's natural that you would probably rely more on your family member as compared to an outsider. Although he may not have the skill set of an engineer, although he may not have a skill set of a specialist, but at least he is able to manage things because somewhere, as I said, back in those days, those professionals were not, I would say, instilled with like ownership that this is ये मेरी site है या मेरी जगह है. And if I am an engineer over there, I have to take care of everything properly because this belongs to me. Somewhere, I mean, this is my belief that somewhere, they were like, okay, मैं ये काम करना है, वो काम करके जाता हूँ. But if I am an owner, there will be different issues coming. There will be labor problems, there will be engineering problems, there will be permission issues, there will be sales issues. Everything props up, right? So you need to take care of all those things. So I feel, being a family member, somewhere back of your mind gives you a relief about managing things, about doing what do you call business in a better way. You are able to take faster decisions. You are able to perform. Maybe some decisions will be wrong. Maybe some decisions will be right. But at least you are moving in the direction of growth. You are moving in the direction of doing a business. So I feel having a family member, it's obviously important. Now, this I'm talking back in old days, but now with professionals, I mean, it's changed a lot. There are great professionals, there are great skills which are available, and today professionals are ready to take ownership. They are ready to perform as if this company belongs to them. So obviously things are very different from what it was about 30 years back to what it is now. And if you historically see every real estate company in the world or even in India, it was always a family managed business. And then slowly, as things expanded, as times changed, professionals started coming in. So that's how even we've evolved over the time. So if you look at our company, we were a proprietorship when my uncle started all by himself. Then we went to partnership when my uncle's brothers and my dad and everyone came in the business. Then as time evolved, we became a private limited company. And from a private limited company, we now are a listed company. So obviously, this is the evolvement which has happened over the last 55 years. And, with, professionals being around, with the family members being around, it's a great mixture. I would say, for Indian business and Indian real estate, because you have an ownership and you have a professional which comes with a special skill set, and this combination gives a great boost to the growth of the company, and that's what we have seen over the last so many years of our business. And we've evolved over time. We've evolved businesses over time. We've expanded more. We've got the ability to look beyond Bombay. We've got the ability to look many projects and not only one or two, because real estate is a business of uncertainties. Real estate is a business of problems somewhere coming in, or some issues coming in. Somewhere legal problems will come in. Somewhere permissions issues will come in. Sometimes sales don't happen so much. There's a capital intensive business. It's everything together, right? So, but when you have this mixed bag of professionals and family members working in together, I think this problem mitigates for you to take larger risks and grow in a
You
faster
have
way.
very beautifully explained how in the initial years back ago, decades, there was not that much of feeling of trust and ownership towards the outsiders, people who would work with us, where the family people were able to establish the trust and they always had a feeling of ownership with whatever work they would do. But considering today's situation, how professional people are, and with how certain mindsets they come along and join the company are like family members to us. So you having that combination of family members and professional people totally justifies and explains perfectly the structure of the company as well.
So, for us, family unity has always been a priority, and God's been very kind. We believe in a religion, Swaminarayan, and we believe that for us, family unity is the most important thing. And for us, growth is synonymous to the growth of family, and the unity is very, very prime to us. And that's how we've structured our business, we've structured our working pattern. In today's day and age, it's very difficult for having 15 family members of different mindsets, of different thought processes, of different age groups working together. So, a division of work, a line of process, and not interfering in each other's job, and allowing each and every person to grow in their particular line of business is something I would say we've very well defined within our line of business for us to grow
The
together.
combination that you are having of different generations, different age group people carrying out different works and taking care of different departments, projects, that is a very rare combination. And aligning that whole combination with the particular people loving what they do and also making sure that they are growing in their respective areas is something difficult to align to. If you can share few insights, few tips, advice for people that how you are able to get this combination aligned, because obviously some days might be like someone wouldn't want to do some kind of work or some kind of job. So how would things change, or how would the things further would take place?
So, for us, firstly, it's not what do you call mindset or a head thing that, okay, you are an Ajmera, so you are supposed to come in the business. That's not something which we push our the people who are coming in the business. If you feel that business is something which you want to do, B, if real estate is an interest to you, and if you feel that real estate works for you, then you step into the company you come in. We've always believed and thought that growth of a person, if you are wanting to come in real estate, is nothing but if you have or spending first 5 years of your life by doing or being at site. Unless and until you have not smelt or felt the dust, the concrete, the steel, the brick, the mortar, I don't think you are born for real estate. You cannot sit in an office and do real estate. So that is our firm belief. So every person who joins in our company, at least for the first 5-6 years, he is under somebody at site, and his job is, so even when I came back from my university, I was assigned a site, and my job was that I will only be at site and I will not come to head office. Only once a week when we had a review meeting, That was the time when I was coming to my head office. But otherwise, my job was to be at site. My job was to look after the smallest of the things, what the site requires. And from there on, you interact with the engineers, you interact with the supervisors, you interact with the people around. You interact with the sales, because typically in real estate, the sales also happen at site and not at a central head office. So you interact with the sales guys, you probably meet some of the sales customers. So you are having a 360-degree knowledge about real estate, and you're knowing how things work, you're knowing what are the processes of real estate. So I think unless and until those are not actually evolved, so our line of action is very clear. First 5 years or 6 years, you will be responsible and be at site. You will obviously be under someone of the family member who is responsible for the overall site, because he comes with the experience. You will get trained along with him or her. After that, we usually, right now, our thing is all our third generations, which are the young lads, are looking after 2 or 3 sites individually with the experience they have gathered, and they manage all the sites along with, so they don't get into the shoes of the engineers, they don't get into the shoes of other professionals, but they are managing the site overall along with the engineer to see to it that the work happens on time, the purchases are done on time, the products which are required, construction material is available, the management is done well to ensure things are there. The second generation is primarily more of a vertical vertical lines of business. So what I mean to say is, someone from the second generation will look after finance, someone will look after marketing and sales, someone will look after licensing, someone will look after admin, HR. So, those kind of verticals is what a second generation will probably look at. And the first generation is now the senior most people, where, currently it's my father, who's the chairman of the company, who is in the
Bird's eye
overall
view.
bird's eye view of the business, and their reviews and, any major decisions which have to be taken have been done. But otherwise, we have a chairman, we have a managing director who's also part of our second generation, but he manages the day-to-day businesses of the company. He's responsible for what sites to take, what decisions to take in terms of sites, or what finances, how to manage. And then every one of us have some or the other vertical role. And the third gen is mostly looking after sites. So that's how we divide work within ourselves. But we also make sure that every line of business or every line of vertical is managed by a professional, because we don't get into their shoes. If we start doing that, then somewhere our mistakes will hamper the company. Somewhere we all are humans, we don't tend to have everything right. So we need to have this blend where the experience and the specialist come together to ensure there is no mistakes happening for the work which is to be done. So we will definitely have the heads of departments of every vertical, be it purchase, sales, finance, HR, admin, everything. They manage complete day-to-day things, and there is an overall structure. So this is how we look after
The
our
way you have
businesses.
explained is very wonderful and said clearly how transparently you work. To summarize, the first generation is overlooking everyone and is having a bird's eye view and is taking up the major calls and also getting updates on the important issues. The second generation is taking care of various departments, divisions, department wise, like HR, finance, sales, marketing, business development, etc. And the third generation, for getting them to gear up and get the grasp and become a veteran in the next 5 to 6 years from their joining date, are taking care of the projects to get the experience.
So I just want to add one more thing, Krish. And that's what my belief is. Every family business, be it real estate or anything, I think the core or the success of family business is more on A, unity, B, the most important thing is, your mindset. When you come up, because today all of us have a different mindset, all of us think very differently. You may discuss, you may have a lot of casual conversations, you may definitely want to put up your points. But somewhere in your mind, you should know that you have, like in our case, we have a chairman and we have a managing director. Their call is final. And if there is a difference of views from 2 different or 3 different people, you should have the informed decision in your mind that, okay, I say A, somebody says B, but then whatever chairman and managing director says, that's what is final, and then you move ahead. Rather than then, because maybe I told A and the decision is of B, then why should I be looking because I don't agree to it? If that's something which you have to instill in yourself, and when you do that, because that, forget family, business, and even in a professional life, I think unless and until you can't be always right, or you can't be always doing what you think is correct, unless you have that mindset that, okay, I have put up my point, they have also put up my, but eventually experience, eventually wisdom, eventually knowledge counts, and that's where you give that kind of trust, and that's his decision is final, and then you work towards it. I think the success is even more far
You
greater
have
than what you think.
highlighted the most 2 points, I believe, in the success of a different generations led family business, be it any industry. One is the
Yes,
unity, and the second is the hierarchy. The unity, which is there, the hierarchy, that the final call will be taken by this person, and that is a final call. Whether you like it, you don't like
correct.
it, you have to like it.
Yeah. So it's like even if you don't like it, but in your mindset, eventually, okay, I put up my point, but then if everyone thinks, so be it, let's work towards it. If that kind of thinking comes in, I think it'll be a great journey, and you will not have, my belief is there will be no feuds anywhere, and things will actually be better. And I mean, a lot of companies can grow even faster and bigger than what we are today.
So now I would want to move to the Wadala land story, because something exciting is there which I want to know. The whole process of purchasing that 100 acres of land, and how you have developed, and knowing about the background from people that it was selling at hundreds, thousands of rupees prices, single digit ₹1,000 prices, and now it has went to like double digits, and had a very huge exponential growth with the few decades that were there.
So it's a very, very interesting story, Krish. Our chairman, late chairman, Chotubai Ajmera, he actually, he was a visionary. He knew, probably he had, what do you call, a great eyesight. He had a great vision, and he knew how things will progress in life. He knew how things would happen. That, I mean, at that point in time, to take such calls was something which probably I don't think would be very courageous for a lot of us to actually even think about it. So the story goes that, my uncle, somewhere, I don't even know, it must be in 80s sometime or something, where he was casually, probably, fort was the area where everyone was actually moving around, and he casually met a Parsi gentleman, and they happened to just have a discussion, and then they said, okay, I'm from real estate, I'm doing projects ABC, and and he said, oh, I also have a land in Wadala, and I would like to dispose of the land. Would you be interested? So my uncle just asked him, where is the land? And they gave him some location, and, here it is, and this and that. And what is the extent of land? My uncle was one thing that, the larger the land, the greater it is, because it will go on for a longer time, and it will eventually reap results for you. So he said it's 100-acre parcel and at Wadala. So my uncle asked him, would you like to sell? And he said, yeah, if it is a good price. And what is the price? And then he told him some price. I frankly don't even remember what it was. But at that point in time, they agreed on a price, and he shook hands and he said, okay, done, we will take this land. So that gentleman, but you've not seen the land. I said, no, but the way you described it is fine. And then in the evening, he went at home, and then he told his brothers that, look, I finalized the land. Please go tomorrow, some of you, and see if that land actually exists. Rest all things we will take care. And that's how the land was finalized. The entire agreement of this 100 acres was probably 4 or 6 pages. I don't think even it was beyond that. That was the level of trust and mutual understanding which was there back in those days. And from there on, land came in, things started moving. obviously the first few years was absolutely zero because Wadala, even if you look at the entire map of Bombay, M ward, which is that ward, how Mumbai Municipal Corporation is divided in different wards. This was known as M ward, which was like the बोलते हैं ना वो अछूत वार्ड, लास्ट वार्ड था, उसमें डेवलपमेंट नहीं था, उसमें कुछ भी नहीं था. बाकी पूरे बॉम्बे की एफएसआई फ्रॉम in the 1991 or 1967 DPs were at 1 or 0.85. This was at I believe 0.5 or 0.6 because they were not allowed to have FSI because they believe that this area will not be growing. There is no development there. There is no infrastructure there. Blessing in disguise, this actually worked for us. Bombay started growing. We also started developing this land. In 2001, 2001, we started developing this property, and it was a struggle actually to go there. And what did my uncle and my family at that point? And then let's bring life over here. So the first thing what they did was they started building a building, and that the first building they built was, and they sold at 1,800 rupees a square feet, 1818. That was the price. It started slowly developing, and then we brought in the first IMAX theater. Obviously, we didn't build it. We sold the land to the owners of IMAX, who brought in the world's largest dome theater of IMAX in Mumbai, and that was and that was brought in over here. That's how slowly life started coming in. Bombay was to expand. Bombay had to expand with the kind of, being the financial capital. Connectivity was the major hurdle which always Bombay struggled to have. Fortunately, Wadala became like an epic center for infrastructure. If you look at the first, the freeway which is connecting from Chembur to town, that came up over here. Because there was no development in and around, or very little development, all this infrastructure development was possible. So we got the freeway over there. Obviously, we are very fortunate that a part of the freeway is part of the land which we gave. So the freeway actually bypasses from, divides our property into two. The Atal Setu, what we now know, it is known as the marvel structure or connectivity. Bombay and Navi Mumbai is about 1.5 kilometers away from here. The BKC connector is 10 minutes away from here. We have 2 more metro lines. We have a monorail line. So every possible infrastructure came in Wadala, and that also came in and around our property. And because of this, people realize the importance of what Wadala is. Today, the properties in 2001, when we started selling at 1,800 rupees a square feet, today we are selling at 30,000 plus rupees a square feet. Because for real estate and infrastructure, it goes hand in hand. And wherever there is a great infrastructure and if there is a great real estate, I think that combination will always work. And that worked for us. And we gave life, we gave openness, we gave connectivity, and the project sees success by itself.
So you said that land started getting developed in 2001-ish, and you joined the business 2003-4 full-fledgedly.
Correct.
And so you have witnessed the whole development of that
Absolutely.
land since the joining of your...
Yeah. I've actually seen the land grow. So I know how it's getting developed. I know how things go. Such a big site, such a big development, infrastructure to do, road networking to do, connectivity with the main roads, connectivity internally, and people to actually believe that, this will be one of the things was something very difficult for us initially. But when people actually started seeing, people actually first when they came, this is like, okay, ये बॉम्बे से थोड़ा दूर है. ऐसे सबको ऐसे लगता था बॉम्बे से दूर है. This is far away from our city. But when they came in as कि I'll keep this as my second home. But then slowly, when the infrastructure came in, it is now become the epic center today for any one of us who is in this hustle bustle of Bombay, where open space is when we see a great open space, we say like, wow. And when you get openness over here, when you get, because of we were fortunate that we've given, one of the largest private garden in Mumbai. It's a 33-acre garden, which is biggest after the Rani Lakshmibai garden. That this is the other one which is biggest in Mumbai today. So that garden is what you actually see, which is developed over there. You see a theater which is there. You see life over there. People actually believe that this is what life is. When you stay here, and when you have a great connectivity, you can go to your work, come back faster, and you can actually enjoy life. So that's what is people started realizing, and that's when we see demand coming in. And from 1,800 rupees a square feet to 30,000 is the growth what we have seen, because people want life, people want openness, and people want connectivity, and that's all three combination
So the
available.
people who might have bought home at 1,800 rupees have witnessed almost 15 times and got a return of almost 15 times in 22 years. So now coming to you have like got 100 acres of land. What I am trying to ask you or understand is you cannot develop the 100 acres altogether. So how and what are the development stages when you have such a huge land bank?
So, I'll give you a very great example, for development. Any large lands, whenever you do, the biggest asset, today, what we always believed, and what my uncle and my fathers, whenever they bought larger land, see, they had an option to probably buy smaller parcels of land. But back in those days, the belief was that when you have, because asset hai, today we are Indians, okay? Real estate, whether we like it or no, for any one of us, from a smallest of the person to the biggest of the person, they will have real estate in their portfolio. It may be land, it may be office, it may be house, it may be retail, it may be anything. But if he or she is earning money, they will have some, because we have roti kapda makan is what we've been taught. That's in our blood. Every Indian believes in roti kapda makan. एक मकान होना चाहिए, चाहे वो घर हो, चाहे वो कुछ भी हो. I don't think there will be hardly any Indians who will probably be earning and not having some kind of real estate in their life. So, uh, the belief was that when you have such a big land, you keep that land and you can't develop, because even if you try to develop such a big parcel of land, it's not something that there is demand coming in that particular micro market, overnight. You can bring. So when we are talking about 100 acres, we are talking about at least 20-30,000 families coming in. You can't bring so many people in one time. So you need to develop that area. You need to develop. You can take every example. You look at Lokhandwala back in those days. You can look at Pawai, Hiranandani. You look at our project at Wadala. You look at every project, which are larger layouts, which they have evolved over time. They have brought in life, they have brought in people, they have brought in, work, and slowly things start moving in over there. So that's the thing which you need to do. So you master plan
The whole layout.
the whole layout. You don't develop it at one shot. But now, obviously, that point in time, you can't. People were not even master planning such a big layout. They would say कि अच्छा आज, and कोई भी land clear नहीं होती है. मतलब in Bombay, there is an issue. There will be a problem. So you have the ownership of entire land, but you clear things, you move ahead, and you grow your property, and that's how businesses work. But now, my belief is that if you have a ownership of a land, you should master plan the entire thing, build up the entire infrastructure in and around it with your road networking and all of that. Divide it into smaller plots or whatever things we want to do. Like this is a commercial plot, this is a resi plot, this is a school plot, or this is a hospital plot. Divide it the way you want. Maybe, just on paper, or maybe a small marking. But if you give that vision to a client or your person, he knows that this is a great city which is going to come. And that will actually help him, grow or take a decision faster. And that's what we do, that when we started off at Wadala, we didn't have the entire land to us. Obviously, we had ownership, but entire land wasn't very clear. So you जितना जो phase में clarity मिलता है, वो phase को आप develop करो, उससे आप आगे बढ़ो, दूसरे phase में जाओ, तीसरे phase में जाओ, चौथे phase में जाओ, and that's how you grow, and that's what we plan to do even in our next big one, which we will come up in Kanjur Marg. We are master planning it, making it a great road network, and then grow in phases for the life to coming and enjoy the property.
So I'll just summarize your whole concept of developing or a development of a huge land bank. Firstly, you do not develop the whole land bank together because there won't be the demand to match the supply that will be coming overnight. And another point is that you master plan the layout with various different asset classes, commercial, residential, warehousing, or whatever possible is there in that particular areas. So you spoke about Kanjur Marg land bank. So I believe it's around 66 acres of land that you are soon going to launch and develop. So if you could share some insights on the Kanjur Marg market and the development that your group is looking up.
So, we have two marquee land parcels in our portfolio. One is obviously Wadala, and the other one is Kanjur Marg. And again, these are those land parcels where we are very proud that, wherever these land parcels, and back in our history, from Mira Road to Lokhandwala to, Yogi Nagar to Shastri Nagar and Manish Nagar, all those places, we are very proud that we brought in life over there. We brought in people over there, and things evolved. Bombay grew, people started moving life over there. And Wadala was something today. We know that when we just casually ask people about Powai, everyone in their mind has Hiranandani as a thing. When we look about at Lokhandwala, it's a Lokhandwala complex in Andheri, which has been very, that's how the area is developed. Wadala, we are very proud that when we look at Wadala is, Ajmera Island or Bhakti Pass, that's something people have, mixed Wadala to or, put in Wadala. So it's a very proud feeling for us. And that's what we want to start doing in Kanjur Marg now. And in Kanjur Marg, obviously, with all what we have learned with our experience of so many years and all of that, as I said, we will do, it's a great, because today in a city of Mumbai, to get this kind of open land is impossible because Mumbai is a very scared land parcel city, and we want to bring in the best over there, and we want to make this, somewhere where not just us, but every person, our customer who's buying an apartment or an office over there, or our architect to our contractor to our designer to everybody who's going to be part of this entire process to grow, because this kind of master planning, this kind of city which we want to develop is impossible to get in a city of Mumbai. And we want to make this that the best which is possible, where somebody, when you grow in, everyone should feel proud that, oh, I am part of this. And that is what we want to do. We are very, working very hard towards this to ensure that we bring in the right piece of art, I would say, to the city, with the best of the infrastructure, with the best of the planning, and with the best of the entire, where the value for money and the growth of money is actually seen and felt by everyone. So we are under a master planning process where we will completely master plan the entire layout with a complete, road networking and infra networking, and then develop phases as and how demand start coming in. And obviously now that area is evolved. It is not as nascent as what Wadala used to be. Obviously that area has a great connectivity. Area is already developed today. And now for us, fortunately, over there, we will be able to, probably do 2-3 things at a time. Maybe something in commercial, maybe something in retail, maybe something in resi. Who knows? So we are looking at doing those kind of developments where the growth is splurged faster, the growth is seen faster, and also experienced with different pockets being developed at different times.
This tells how different, again, asset classes, residential, commercial, and various other kind of developments will happen in the land bank, and is going to be fully, properly master planned and executed with phases. So, would want to move to where Ajmera Group has developed various properties outside Bombay and as well as along with that outside India as well. So I want to know the experience that the organization had with developing these properties outside Bombay, which are in Bangalore, Surat, and Manhattan, Bahrain, London.
So, we when we started, as I said, when we started developing and when we started looking at different things, and the company started growing, family members started coming in. It was, if वो ऐसा है कि एक जगह पे 3 जन को रख लो, तो आउटपुट ना प्रोजेक्ट का आएगा, आउटपुट ना पर्सन का आएगा, ना किसी का कुछ डेवलपमेंट होएगा. So that was very clear. So it is better that you give everyone their own free hand to work as an entrepreneur, to work as a owner, to grow that particular, and eventually that growth is coming in the company, which makes your company grow. So we when the family members started coming in, we started looking at projects outside Mumbai also, and we started looking in Pune. We developed some properties in Pune. We did in Ahmedabad. We did in Surat, Rajkot. Then Bangalore is when I came in. I started. I was assigned to look after Bangalore market, and that me and my cousin used to handle that projects over there, and we expanded in our Bangalore markets. And from there on, we moved internationally. We looked at about some projects in Bahrain. We looked in London. So that's how we grew. Every city comes in with their own challenges. Every city comes in with their own issues, problems. But eventually you grow over it. Eventually you mull over it and start, expanding projects. We looked at projects in Bangalore. So today it's been almost about 18 odd years where we have been in Bangalore market. We've given about 5,000 apartments already delivered. And now we've settled. We have a team over there. And as I said, there is a great line defined between professionals and family members and their line of work. So it's easier for us to expand in those operations where we are. And we believe that today in India, real estate market is looking good. India is growing on the growth path. The economy is great. We have a stable government from the last almost 10 odd years, and this is another term which is going on. People outside world is looking great for India, and so there will this economic growth cycle will continue to grow. And as I said, roti kapda makan, for our growth the first thing will be in makan for Indians, and that is where real estate will continue to grow. The demand for real estate will continue to be, and so we are expanding in our lines of businesses where we are, like Bangalore, like Pune, Bombay. We finished our projects in different other cities. We've done in London also. We've done in Bahrain also. But I think today, where our belief is that these 3 cities is somewhere we want to expand even more and grow more. So we are continuing to grow in these cities.
So you have witnessed developing projects internationally as well. So would want to know the experience and the future developments internationally.
So, when we started going out internationally, when we started growing within India, last 1 decade in India particularly, we've seen a great transformational change in the real estate market. When we look at there was GST, there was demonetization, there was RERA, there was IL&FS crisis, there were issues. So what our experience was that real estate market is great and it's going to be continuing to be great in India. But there are certain hurdles which are coming, and probably the growth pattern would be a little slow as compared to probably what it was earlier or it would have been earlier. So we thought that, let's look, and we always, wanted to see and experience doing projects internationally and see if we can look at some projects outside. And that's how we started looking at some projects, and we finalized some land in Bahrain. The experience at Bahrain was good initially. We started working, we started developing. We brought in, we launched the project of the two. We developed we were on the verge of developing the tallest tower of Bahrain, and we continued doing it. We started the sales of the first tower. I think almost from the first phase of the first tower, we've almost sold 50, 80, 60% of it. Unfortunately, COVID hit at that point in time. And what we realized in Bahrain was that this market was now shifting towards ready product. So for us to put in and pump in, then it came to a thing that we had to develop the entire land, building, construct completely by our own finances, and then probably lease it out or sell it. We thought it was a little bigger investment to come in at that point in time, and then we thought that it is no. And then obviously COVID was, there everywhere, and then we thought that why would we want to invest so much of money outside our country and look at projects which are outside. Although it was a great investment option, but we thought that investment was too much. So hence we sold that project to someone, and we exited out of it. And because we believed that that point in time the Indian market was doing great, and it is better for us to do some projects here. And London also we started doing in 2019. We started developing. We were very clear we didn't want to look at very high-end properties, but we looked at the zone 3, zone 4 outside central London. We developed some lands, we sold it. The experience was good enough. Obviously, we had hurdles of COVID, but overall, it just we completed the projects, and we are hoping that we have certain leg of sales to finish, and we should do it. Going forward, our belief over the last 2-3 years have been very clear that post COVID, the real estate market has dramatically changed in India. And that has always been the cycle. If you really look at even when during the 2007-8 crisis, of the Lehman Brothers crisis which happened, every market in India tanked, everything was slow. The first market to grow and upcome was real estate because people believed in that. And from there on, I think every other market started moving because, it is the nature of real estate. Because when you are developing one land or one piece of land, you're not only developing for yourself, you are directly or indirectly supporting 270 or 280 other industries, which is giving, employment to those many different peoples. And that is how the economy of 280 other industries is growing along with your growth. So when the real estate market grew, and it grew the fastest after Lehman Brothers, so we were we knew that post 2020 when COVID hit, the first experience what we thought we got was COVID obviously came in March of 2020, end of March of 2020. We saw in May, the month of May 2020, our sales were almost as much as what we did in January or February of 2020. So that's when we realized that people are investing, even though none of them came to site, none of them saw, but they invested. They transferred money, they did everything. So we knew that this market is going to go in a big way. And that's when we took a leap call that now is the time for us to look real estate in a very different way than what we probably did. As I said, there were hurdles in real estate like GST, RERA, demonetization, ILFS crisis. Everything came in 2010 to 2020. Every of these issues came in. People saw and people overcame all of that. COVID was the last nail in the coffin to see to it that isse bura bhi aur kuch nahi ho sakta hai. But people also realized that eventually after of all my assets, be it mutual funds, be it gold, be it stocks, be it anything, the house which came to my rescue, it was only a home which came to everyone's rescue. And that is where the importance of home started developing faster even than it was. So, and what we thought was that in real estate now, with all of these RERA now being very, very, superbly managed or done, GST being part of the system, everything, we realized that developers, people will buy in projects where developers come in with experience, come in with delivery, come in with no issues, with quality, with legalities, with anything, and also, where they have performed and they have shown results. I think that will be the preference of buyers to buy projects of such developers. And if you are a listed entity, it actually adds sugar to your entire process, because transparency is even more. Although every project is now being transparent because of RERA, thanks to RERA, and now being a listed, you are actually giving away all your information to public domain. So as Ajmera, we fit in all of that. We come in with 55 years of experience. We've delivered 46,000 homes. We've done 3 crore square feet of development. No issues in terms of quality, legal issues of deliveries, etc. And we are a listed entity. When we have all of these boxes ticked in, I think that's the time we said that now is the time for us to grow exponentially from where we are. And internally, we decided that we want to grow 5x from what we are. And that's when we brought in a lot of our projects, which were probably under the back burner, to bring it up faster, to look at projects differently, look at executing it differently. And that's what we started developing these projects. And slowly, our growth journey also started. And then we were, we looked at about 300 crores of annual sales to move to about 600 crores to 800 crores to 1,000 crores this year. So the growth journey is also moving up. We're very proud that last year, in 24 hours, we gave possession to 1,000 homes in one day. So that was something which we really proud, because possession and giving homes to someone is a very different feeling than making it. And we actually witnessed 1,000 families being the happy smiles of those 1,000 families in one day, looking around at different projects. So that's the entire growth journey where we are. And we are now going forward also seeing that, Mumbai has transformed dramatically over the last few years. It is coming, it's, the financial capital, it is coming with its sheen of being a financial capital of India. People are, ready to buy homes in Mumbai. The infrastructure, what we see today in terms of, metros, in terms of coastal road, in terms of freeways, in terms of all these things, is actually connecting well and making every suburb of ours very, very near to each other. So with that growth, I think the growth of Mumbai has been great. So we have, at least for the next 5-7 years, our focus is more in Mumbai, Bangalore, where we are already developing, and Pune. These are the 3 micro markets, or the 3 cities where we want to grow, and we feel that enough and more work will come our way to continue to grow more. And besides our, growth line, we've divided our entire growth into, like our businesses into 4-5 portfolios. One is our greenfield project, which is our own land banks, which we already have. One is redevelopment and slum redevelopment projects, because that's the future of Mumbai and that's how redevelopments are growing. One is joint ventures and joint developments, where we bring in somebody's land and we develop it. And one is outright buy. Our belief is that we will continue to grow in all these 4 segments, while one is already in our pocket, but the other 3 will also be a part of our growth journey. And that's how we have been growing and looking at. So last year we acquired about 7-8 projects. This year also we are on the verge of looking at least 2-3 more. So and bringing those 7-8 projects in our pipeline to for our growth journey this year. So that's how we want to grow.
So clearly, COVID is the thing that completely changed your strategy from, again, diverting all the forces, all the focus from international back to the Indian markets, knowing that the exponential Indian growth is going to have, and knowing or setting that benchmark goal of 5x growth in 5 years as well. So now, since we are talking about the company being listed as well, would want you to highlight the points that a listed company sees advantages and disadvantages in.
Well, listed company, the advantages is obviously I mean, at least my belief is very clear that if you want to list your company, you need to come up with a mindset that you have to be transparent and you have to be open to public to give them answers. Not many people are very comfortable to it, and it's not right or wrong or something. Obviously, you have to be transparent. Thanks to RERA, everyone is today. But in listed entities, you are being more transparent in terms of profitabilities, in terms of your, which projects we are. In real estate, there's always a thing that I will have 10 projects which are known in the public domain, and I will have 5 which are not known in public domain. But in a listed entity, all those 10 which are known and unknown will be, because you have to disclose everything. That's something which you look at. You bring in that, you bring in a larger pool of investors, and not only from your local micro market, but to funds, to international money coming in, or international funds coming in, who are looking at real estate as an avenue, and they don't get to invest in a property straight, but they get to invest in our listed entity as our shares, and they are part of the growth journey. So you have and you bring in the best of the practices. You bring in, everyone is aligned to knowing how the growth of the company is going to come. Every quarterly you need to give your results, or you show your thing. So that's something which you bring in when you are part of the listed entity. I honestly don't see disadvantages in not being listed, or should not be listed. Only if it's just a mindset. I'm being very honest that if your mindset is, and I don't see both. There is a growth mindset and there is a content mindset, and both of them are not wrong. So it's yours. So if you are a content mindset, probably people outside world would not want to probably be with you, because you are happy in your own space and you feel that, okay, I'm growing 2 projects in a year or 3 projects in a year, I'm fine with it. But if you are looking at growing from 5 to 10 to 15 to 20, then being listed, being with the public, you get money easily. You get money, from public, which is probably not as expensive as lending from the banks or others. So, and they are part of your journey with the world around. You bring the best of the minds together.
It
So
primarily
that's how you move.
comes down to the mindset that the individual is having for his company. So
Absolutely. So, again, if you look at our Bombay real estate market, there are 3 kinds of developers over here. One is a micro market specialist. Okay. Maybe someone who's only developed in Khar, Bandra, Santa Cruz, just as an example, or someone who's doing in Borivali, Kandivali as an example. So they are happy, and they are growing over there. So, and people love them because they know the pulse of the market. They know every customer around them, and people are comfortable with that developer because he is known to him one-on-one, stuff like that. There is a developer who is probably looking at every suburbs of Bombay, or moving, in different places, and they have a name by themselves, and they have been growing professionally and, developing projects. And there are pan-India developers who are doing not only in Bombay, like Bangalore, Pune. So these are the 3, categories of developers which are there. You choose somebody who is a micro market specialist and who wants to only grow. I don't think being listed is part of their growth journey, because they are happy within their micro market and they are growing within the micro. Probably someone who is looking at Bombay in different suburbs where the growth is exponentially great, that for them listed is a great option. And obviously somebody who's a pan-India, for them also listed is a great. So it's all the mindset and the way you are growing, and I would say none of them is wrong. So you choose how you want to
fair
grow.
enough, completely. So the mindset is one reason, and the kind of growth that you must be witnessing, the particular individual or the company, depends a lot on that as well. So now moving on to, I know that you have done the half triathlon Ironman thing. So would want to know a little bit about your personal life, that what is the training process behind that, and why you wish to do so, how it helps you in your life as well.
When I was 24, 25, 26, I was a lazy guy. I didn't do even one bit of workout, one bit of things. And I was okay with it, Then somewhere when I somehow, thanks to one of our developer friend, Mr. Nayan Shah, from Mayfair. We both did our, when we both were the Bahrain project, we both have done in partnership together. So we used to travel to Bahrain together, and we used to talk. And he was always into fitness and all of that. And somewhere it struck me that if he was probably 50-52 at that point in time, or 48-50. I said, if he's doing at this age and he's running and all of that, I'm what is wrong with me? I should also do something. And then that's how I started running. And slowly the passion of running came into me. I started doing small runs to big runs to local runs, and then I started doing marathons. I did my first marathon when my daughter was born, and that's from there on I've not stopped. It's been about 16-17 years. That's how the running passion grew in me. Did a few half marathons, did a few full marathons, and that journey went on. I knew when I would turn 40, I wanted to do a full marathon, because I didn't do it at least from the last 7-8 years before that. So, and that point in time, it was COVID. So I did one full marathon at that point in time. Somewhere last year, we 2-3 friends of ours, about 2-3 years back, few of us were just casually sitting, and all these three of us were into some or the other fitness. And we just casually thought and decided that, okay, we've done enough of running, now next what? And one of our friends just suggested an Ironman. I said, are you mad? You know what an Ironman is? So he said, yeah, it's a swimming, it's cycling, and it's running, and you do all of these three things together. And then when there is and I said, look, dude, we are, we with all our lives and work, I don't think this is possible. Then we just passed by it, and then 2023 start, I thought now I should do something, when somewhere when you grow in life, you feel you should pick up challenges. Otherwise, it's something which you will not probably, what is the achievement you have done? You've grown in your business, you've grown in your lifestyle, you've done everything. But if you don't have challenges, I think mindset needs to work on accepting challenges and working on it positively for you to grow. So that's something which I always believed in. And I love challenges. So if there is someone if tells me that ye nahi hoega tere se, that's something which I will probably start doing more, to see to it. And if I believe that I can do it, then I will definitely try to do it. So then I thought that, and then few of my friends were doing Ironman and had done Ironman. So I thought that let's try, doing an Ironman. I didn't even know. And then I just looked around on the website of Ironman, and I just registered myself. And I didn't know of Ironman, what it is. I just knew it is swimming, cycling, running. That is all I knew, but I didn't know anything about it. Then I started calling my friends, and fortunately, a lot of developers are, someone who've done Ironman before. Naveen Makhija from Wadala Developers, I consider him as a friend and a guru, because he's actually spent time with me, went with me the entire day, and he told me, I called him and I said, Naveen, I've registered for Ironman, but I don't know anything about it. I said, congrats. He said, congrats, welcome to the world. And he actually taught me and told me what it is, and obviously went into this journey, processed it, had trainers for every bit of it. I didn't know swimming. I mean, obviously I knew swimming, but I didn't knew the professional way of swimming. I didn't know what kind of cycle you require for this. Only one thing I knew
There's
was
a
running.
particular cycle.
So, there are different cycles to it. You need to have a specialist cycle. You can't run with your regular cycle. So you need to, and there are so many things. So Ironman actually is something where what I did last year was 1.9 kilometers of swimming in the sea. Then you have 90 kilometers of cycling, and then you have 21 kilometers of running. So all these three things you have to finish in one time. So it's about 8.5 hours of time limit which you have, and you need to finish that. Sea swimming in Mumbai was not possible, but that was a challenge which I had. Cycling, I did not know. I mean, I knew cycling, but with a professional cycle, how to cycle, what to do, I did not know. And only one thing which I knew was running. So I brought in specialists, I spoke to coaches, I brought up a plan. Obviously, they designed a plan for me. I worked hard towards it. I think it gave me about 5-6 months of training to actually look and do it. But one thing which actually changed in this entire thing was my mindset. When Ironman, I believe that it's not only Ironman, because I am into long endurance sport, so I do this. But if anyone, I believe every one of us should believe in taking a sport, and because that sport changes your mindset a lot. It gives you that mindset of taking up challenges, looking up at those challenges positively, and working towards it positively. Because eventually, in your business or in your business or in your what do you call the growth journey with your people around, I think all this is very, very important. You come up with challenges, and real estate is full of challenges. मेरा एक बहुत क्लियरली मानना है कि कोई डेवलपर को हार्ट अटैक, एटलीस्ट बॉम्बे के डेवलपर हार्ट अटैक से वो नहीं आ सकता है, बिकॉज इतने चैलेंजेस है, इतने इश्यूज बॉम्बे के रियल एस्टेट में आते हैं, एंड एवरी वन ऑफ अस ओवरकम इट. So you can't, if someone tells me the developer died of heart attack, I don't believe. So it's your heart and you're prone to it, but with that, you bring that resilience, you bring that challenge, you bring that positivity and that nudge to do it. That's something which I learned in this entire journey, and I'm very happy with it. It helped me in my business, it helped me personally grow it, and I'm able to take up challenges even more and positively, which is a mindset. I think we humans are brought in, or we are capable of doing so many things. It's only in my mind which I think ye mere se nahi hoga. And when you overcome this, I think you look at the world very differently. So yeah, I did about 6 months of training. I swam in the sea. First time when I went, I looked at it, was very challenging, but you overcome.
You
I
had
overcame
practiced
it.
in the sea even once before going with
Yeah.
pleasure.
I actually went to Dubai to swim. I knew over here, and that was a monsoon season, and I
Because the
knew I
sea
can't
is
do it
like
in
already
Mumbai.
salty and
Yeah, it's salty water, no? So then I went to, I took my coach. I told him, boss, we need to go there. We need to experience what sea water is. We went there for 3-4 days, did our training sessions over there, gave me the experience, gave me that confidence. So yeah, and I followed a program. I had a nutritionist, I had a Ironman coach, I had a swimming coach, I had a strength trainer, and I had a physiotherapist. So all of these, to gel in that, and I only had 24 hours in a day to do this, plus my work, plus obviously Creda MCH was there, and plus my social life and my family life. So the time management was the biggest lesson which I learned in the entire training. And you become more disciplined, you become more, engrossed towards it, and it worked. And fortunately, I did it last year. Hopefully, I should be able to do one more this
you
year.
will be
Let's
able
see
to.
how it goes.
This clearly tells about the person you are, the mindset you carry, because you have experienced certain things and they changed you, molded you in a certain way. So that totally weighs much more than the person that might be seeing you just as a business person, because that's where the face is out in the public most of the times. But apart from that, knowing about your personal life, the person which you are behind the business, managing so many different things and being able to cope up with everything is something very inspiring.
Yeah. So it's all in your mind. When we, as I said, apne ko lagta hai we can't do this, but if your mind somewhere, when you go for it, I'm sure every one of us has experienced this in our life somewhere or the other. But if you make this as a practice and look this up as a challenge to grow within for you, I
It
think
has
it'll
came up
it'll
and
help
crossed
you.
my mind right now that we have to do the Ironman. Like, I need to look up at this challenge and have a look at it.
Yeah, I mean, it's just not Ironman. You look at any sport, pick up any sport what you like. It's not something which you don't like. If you like, because I loved running, so I picked it up as a thing, because running, it's the best time I've experienced over the last so many years. It's your best me time. There is no phone call. There is no one around you. You think so much. When you are. I think my best of the ideas for my work or for my anything have come from running. And when I go to office one fine day and I just say, okay, we need to meet, everyone knows कि आज सर ने running किया है और उनके पास कुछ नया idea है and he wants to explore or he wants to see. So I mean, that's the thought process which you come up with, and you are thinking, you bring your when it's just you're with yourself for 1 hour, 2 hours, and then when you think a lot, you will come up with great ideas. Your mind is brought up. There is a lot inside us which we need to bring it out.
Definitely. So going away from real estate to power the real estate and us. So this was a great session from this very start, talking about the family business, how the business is run with having so many members and making sure that everyone is aligned and everyone is happy. Along with that, then moving to the importance of, I'm sorry, moving to how the land banks that you all have and you all have developed it to various other developments that you have carried internationally, domestically, and the person behind the business space, the triathlon thing. This was a huge learning, small talk, but a very huge learning for me in such a short amount of time, and really, really thankful for you and grateful for you to come here and become a part of it.
Thank you. Thank you, Krish. It was great talking to you. I just want to end up saying that, we all, there is life. You should enjoy, you should do it. But if you, prioritize things, and if you move around with, it's not that I don't enjoy life. I love socializing. I love eating. I'm a foodie. And then also I love doing my workouts and my running and my now the Ironman which I do. So and work in all of this, one thing I only learned was this was all possible because for me work is passion, and I take my work as my passion and not as a work. I think that mindset changes a lot, and if all of us believe in this as a passion and not as कि मेरे को काम पे जाने का है और ये मेरे को I have to go to office. If that changes, I think you will love what you're doing and you will get time for everything and you will progress a lot. That's all I would like to
Definitely,
say.
the balance that has to be there
Yes.
for everything.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.